And welcome to Kindle Unlimited, the podcast for reviews, rants, and ramblings about books from our favorite way to get books. I'm Amity, one of your hosts.
And I'm Stephanie, another host.
And I'm Lauren, also a host, and we are excited to chat about what we feel is an endless library of Kindle Unlimited books just waiting for us.
Yeah, so on this podcast, we're going to be discussing books that we've read from the Kindle Unlimited universe, and we'll just give a quick recap, our thoughts, and different ideas.
And so we are discussing these books after we have read them. So this is your spoiler alert for every future episode. We're going to be talking about the endings. But before we get into this week's book, let's do a quick recap of our reading. What are you guys reading right now, and where have you been doing this reading?
So I am reading Anti-Hero, which is actually, I think I'm Kindle Unlimited, but it's by this author named Tijan, and she has a bunch of books on Kindle Unlimited, but her past books have gotten me, but I don't know why. This one's been a little tougher to get into.
Does it relate to the Taylor Swift song? Because I also don't love her song Anti-Hero. Like, maybe if you name something that
It's just very... no, it has nothing to do with Anti-Hero, the song, and the character I just haven't been able to connect with. So,
Lauren, where have you been reading?
I have been reading a couple books by Christina, I think it's Lauren, The Soulmate Equation.
I feel like I've heard of her.
They're not on Kindle Unlimited, but
Not have heard of her.
They were very fun read. I think it's two authors that write it together. They were very cute, really well written, and like the characters they had depth to them, which was nice, and it was a different type of story that you don't see elsewhere.
That's awesome. I was just reading up in it was spring break, so I got to do a lot more reading than normal. And I was reading a nonfiction book, which I highly recommend. It was super enjoyable, very like relatable. It's called One in a Millennial by Kate Kennedy. I listened to her podcast, and I really enjoyed the book, but it took me a long time to get through. Not because it wasn't a good book, but because when I usually do my reading, it's nighttime. And when there's not a plot to hook me, I guess I just fall asleep. And it was so good at, like, I read to fall asleep.
Don't you do the same thing with movies?
I'm not a movie person for the most part. I have a hard time with them. But that's why I love to read so much. And I do find that when I'm watching a rom-com, because those are my favorite types of books, I think to myself, I could get through this so much faster if it wasn't a book.
See, with me and like books, I think of like, oh, how would this be like as a movie or like a TV show? So,
are you one of those people who pictures it while you're reading?
Yes,
I don't. Yeah. Do you picture it while you're... No,
I can't. I think the only reason I know what like ACOTAR people look like is from what is put on Instagram and like TikTok and other people's depictions of what they look like.
Yeah, I'm not a picturer.
Oh, I'm a picturer, movier. I have dreams about the book after I finish reading the book. Yeah.
Interesting. So do you... Oh, there's going to be so many great future episodes.
Do you remember the dreams? I need to know.
The dreams, yeah, because... And what's crazy is, so I have the dreams about books that I've just finished, and then also TV shows that I just finished. So, TJ and I just finished Masters of the Air, which is an Apple TV.
Okay.
And I had, like, the craziest dreams because it's, like, fighter pilots from World War II. And it was just insane. But, yeah, I have a lot of dreams about the books. And it's always after I finish them. It's never in the middle of them. It's always after I finish the book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds like so much fun.
Except...
Relive it.
Yes. This book I did not have dreams of.
This book being the Duet?
Yes.
So our first book that we're talking about is The Duet, a book by R.S. Gray on the Kindle Unlimited universe. Amity, was the one who picked this one. I've read a bunch of other stuff by R.S. Gray and really enjoyed it, and I was following her on Instagram, and this is one of her newest ones. So I was like, let's read it. And so just a quick recap of the book. Features main characters Brooklyn Hart and Jason Monroe. They're both singers and guitar players, and they record for the same record label. They meet after their record label brings them to this meeting that they don't have an agenda or topic for ahead of time, and says, like, you've got a month until the Grammys, and we booked you a duet. See you there. Which just doesn't really feel like a record company that I've heard of before.
Write a song.
Yeah. And then some reason they can't write in LA because the only place Jason's gonna write is in Montana at his ranch. So Brooklyn goes by herself there to stay for like the month to have them write that song together. They bring no musical producer, no official recording studio.
Except he has one in his house.
I couldn't tell if it was like a full recording studio or just like a room with a guitar in it. And a
just
couch, but
right
like also
bedroom?
a bed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyways, there's some side characters in the book too. Brooklyn's sister, Cammie, who is still in college for architecture. And the book really very much pushes that there's going to be some sort of conflict, also potentially like enemies to lovers, with Cammie and Brooklyn's like bestie, who's a successful and hot architect, Grayson. And it reminds you over and over again, especially during like the last 20%, how awkward and mean they are like about each other. Anyway, so Brooklyn goes to the ranch by herself, and there's a hot ranch hand named Derek who picks her up at the airport, who's immediately described as too young for her, which she's described as like late-ish 20s. So I'm like, what is this guy, like 19? Like, is he
an actual child?
Right, is he doing this after school? Like, he's like, oh, I have second period language arts, and then I come to, and whatever.
I did picture her in her 30s. I don't know why.
I really felt like she was described as like 27.
They just described her as immature, but then she's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but her sister is still in college.
College, that's true.
Anyways, so she gets picked up at the airport by the hot ranch hand Derek. They get to the house, and there's like this house manager, chef, Luann, who I would love to hire. She definitely gave me Chessie from The Parent Trap.
Oh, yeah.
Vibes.
Yes.
And I just wanted her so badly. So she stays in Jason's ranch house, gets to know the crew, and starts like a sex only just so we can write about our song together thing with Jason while they're supposed to be writing a song. After like he randomly kisses her because of a spider in the bathtub or something.
Yes.
Like the second day they've been at the house together, and she's staying at this unfamiliar place in the middle of Montana, in the middle of nowhere by herself, and doesn't lock the bathroom door. I don't know. Things go where they go in these types of books, where they seemingly like both have feelings but have no idea how to use words except for to write songs.
Oh, and don't forget the random prom scene where they both end up going to prom,
Yes.
the high school prom.
I know. I feel like that's a trope I've never seen
that
before.
She went with?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways, then like a blast from the past, Jason's wife comes to the house right as they get the song done, and it's so good. And Brooklyn, who was like, oh no, feelings, doesn't magically get better at communicating about her feelings.
Mind you, this is a wife that no one knows about.
Right?
There's no pictures.
I feel like he's a famous person and no one knows about this wife and child.
Right.
That's not actually his child.
But it's Montana. It's the magic of Montana, where the high school kid knows who you are, but that high school kid's not. None of them posted on like TMZ or something. Like at one point there were paparazzi, like not a lot. I don't know. Anyway, so she's like, "What? You have a wife?" And she just storms off to LA. They rehearse together at the Grammys, but like very little. And somehow there's like still a song, but it's kind of a breakup song. And then I forget how she finds out that it was like a pity marriage. Like it was like, "I'm sorry that you got pregnant."
Luann calls her.
Luann calls her, yes. And it's like, there's more that you should know that I certainly couldn't have told you while you were still in Montana.
And then he shows up to her house and was like, I heard Luann told you the truth. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. And she like kind of didn't care, but was like, huh. And then she stops, like they go to the Grammys, and then Jason surprises her on stage at the very well rehearsed and well timed Grammys, which I just find so realistic. With a surprise ending to the song that's like, after she's like, and so we end, and he's like, but we don't, and we continue going forever, maybe if that's okay with you, to hard launch a potential relationship here on the Grammys. And he's like, oh, that was
she won the Grammy too.
Yes, she won, he won, or they both won, everybody won. It was like obviously perfect happy ending, which to be fair is my favorite time. But yeah, so that was the book. So overall impression, what did you guys think of the book?
There were parts of the books that I really enjoyed. I think the beginning, but then I think at the scene where she like randomly goes with her personal assistant out partying, and like drunk texts him or something because they've kissed once, and then she like feels this like connection to him. I just like cringed inside, and I could not read that part. And then she doesn't remember any of these texts until like the next morning. That lost me, and I think I liked the rest of the book. It was a cute story.
It was a cute story.
Yeah.
It was a cute story. I thought the spicy scenes were a bit mild.
I would agree with that.
Like,
yes.
it read a little bit more, like, I don't know that I'd describe it YA, but like maybe collegiate adult. Like, it's certainly not, like, YA, like...
Yes.
Like, it's definitely rated R, but, like, it's like HBO and not behind a paywall.
But it was weird because at the beginning of the story, she kept talking about, like, how she needed to have sex.
Yes!
And she was, like, obsessed with it.
At the beginning, didn't she hook up with, like, the model and it was
Yes.
terrible?
Brazilian model, yeah.
Yes. He was beautiful, but
Right.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was an interesting book. All right, so, but there were some fun characters in there. Any least favorite characters? Anybody who bothered you the whole time?
I don't think so.
No, I didn't have any characters I didn't
Like.
I was over Grayson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True. Yes, the friend.
But he's like a friend, but like I don't see their friendship doing much except for her begging him for a job for her sister.
Yes.
There was no backstory there as to, like...
So that's the second book in the series, is Cammie and Grayson.
It is. And like it's obviously a hard pitch for the
Yes.
Cammie and Grayson
Yeah.
story.
Yes.
But like unless Cammie and Grayson page 1, now they're in close proximity. Like, don't warm me up. You've been warming me up for a whole previous book.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for.
To be honest, I'll probably still read Cammie and Grayson's story, but I loved Luann.
My favorite, and the ranch hand.
Derek.
That is supposedly 19. We have no idea.
I know.
Yeah.
He's just too young for her. This very immature 24 to 34-year-old. Am I describing myself?
Honestly,
No.
I think the side characters were my favorite
Better,
characters.
yeah.
Yes. I wished for more development from Derek. I had thought the story could have predictably but more captivatingly gone with something happening between Derek and her having to face some sort of like choice type thing versus
Love
like
triangle.
Yeah, versus like Derek just genuinely being like,
being a good guy.
do you want to come play darts? And
She
then,
like go for a horseback ride.
right. Like I really that's where I thought it was going. And it didn't, which I guess like surprising, but it was like surprisingly timid.
For a bit there, I thought when the sister showed up,
That's what I
she was
thought.
going to go with Derek.
Yes. I would have preferred the sister with Derek then.
Yeah.
That would have made sense. And that
Yeah.
might have made the Grayson push feel more like it was jealousy.
Yes.
Something. Maybe maybe he's in book 2.
He better be.
Maybe
But,
everything we're asking for is in book 2.
Luann also better be in it.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, I wonder if like Cammie will fight with Grayson at one point and have to go to Montana with her sister.
Let's say I'm going to the ranch.
Where my sister lives and found love.
Did they move to Montana? Did they? They didn't say, did they?
At the end, I think they did.
I don't think they were anywhere full time. Like
They were in between.
yes.
Okay.
Kind of like how Jason had been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
Because there was this scene with the girl, the little one, the not daughter,
Right.
and they were like taking her somewhere or something. And it was
Oh
a big deal.
yes, it was like an amusement park or something.
Yes,
or
and
like
I
a
definitely
zoo.
felt like it was in LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they have amusement parks.
Yeah,
in
like the
Montana.
small town girl he married from Montana now lives in LA. I don't know. It
was
With the new husband.
yeah. It was
How
so
convenient.
weird. I know. There's so many tropes already in this. What tropes did you guys see? I normally like forced proximity.
Enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers. I love enemies to lovers. That might be my favorite trope. I didn't enjoy it in this case. And I think it's because I don't know why they were enemies.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was forced. I understand their first reaction was her looking like a complete slob, trying to redress herself.
But like he's a musician in the music industry. Has he not heard of her? Like that was the confusion. Like, oh, you write your own songs? Like
Yeah.
Like, are they on such different genres?
What was his genre? Was he?
I don't know why.
Just
I
imagine
pictured-
it country.
Me too. I just pictured it country.
I think so, or like.
I know he wrote his own
folk or
songs.
something.
But like she couldn't have been hip hop.
No,
she
she was,
brought
like,
her own
pop.
guitar.
Yeah.
Like so that was like you really like you're both up for like album of the year or song of the year. Like
How do you not know who?
right. It was very.
I guess he is in Montana and lives under a rock.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It was.
With his wife, but not really wife.
Yes. We clearly can't get over that part. Keep coming back to that.
I normally love enemies to lovers, and because I didn't know why they were enemies, it wasn't.
Well, because I think the enemies to lovers in this situation just made you not like him because you didn't understand where he was coming from.
Which, the other thing that I wanted, that I realized afterwards, why might not have found this book as captivating as others, it was entirely narrated by her.
Yes, yeah.
I love the dual point of view.
I do too.
Love
and
them.
I missed it. I didn't realize how much I missed it till I was way finished. And I was like, oh yeah, it was just her perspective. And I missed, like, maybe he was like, oh yeah, she took my contract, something, I don't know. I was supposed to book that festival and they took her in instead. And like, then I would know why he hated her from the start.
Yes.
It just seems that he didn't like her because he thought she was this like pop star.
Uppity, like full of herself.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But then he prepared the special guest bedroom for her.
And like bought all the new furniture.
Right, like special just for her. And Luann's like, that wasn't me, unless like it was.
She's just saying that to get them together.
Yeah. Luann knows. Luann knows.
Who did you describe her as?
Chessie.
I love that. That is so perfect. And spot on.
I want a Chessie. Looking for Chessies. So let's rate it. We're gonna rate out of 10. 5 stars is too hard. So we're gonna rate it out of 10. You can still do a decimal point, but only to the 10th place, I think. We're making these rules up as we go.
Okay.
If you want to get super...
I'm gonna call it a 5.5.
I was gonna go with a 6.
Okay.
Let's do... I'm not sure, like a 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I disliked it the most. Especially because it was my pick. But maybe it's because I really
you
enjoy...
have higher expectations because you've read the author before.
Yes, I really enjoy her stuff. And so this was like, oh. Like, I hope this is not the full direction. Like, if we get book 2 and it, like, chapter 1 and 2 are both from Cammie's perspective, I think I'm out.
I also, like, never rate anything lower than a 3 on
I have never...
Goodreads.
Same.
So...
I don't rate on Goodreads.
Well, when I finish a book on Kindle Unlimited,
yes,
it has you rate it, and then it goes to, like, Goodreads as, like...
automatically.
Yeah.
I know. But I just put red and move on. But I should start rating them.
Yeah, so...
And that'll help me keep track of, like, read my own thoughts about what I thought about the books.
So... When you're on your Kindle, do you highlight things and then go back to the highlighted sections to see what you...
Look, I'm not doing homework.
No,
well,
I'm with her.
Okay. Like, I'll highlight, but I never go back, and
Sometimes
I think
I
on Goodreads
accidentally
you can
highlight.
access it.
Really?
I think you
I
can
don't-
too. Something syncs with it.
Because I'll get an email from Goodreads, you finished this book, and then I'll, like, go on and it shows these highlights, and I guess I should look at that.
My favorite from Goodreads is when it's like, this author has this book coming out.
And then
I'm
you go
like,
down a rabbit hole and you read 8 of their books.
Yeah,
and it's wonderful.
exactly.
Ideally, they have a series.
Yes. Yes.
Sure. I love series. Series is multiple series. Is series the plural of the word series? It's probably not series is.
Don't ask me.
You know what? We are consumers of the written word. We are not authors of the written word. So
if you were to be an author, what do you think you would produce as work? I feel like I would be writing like I barely finished high school, and it would be terrible.
I want to author a book, but it's definitely related to education and not at all for pleasure. Although I definitely I remember being in elementary school and writing books, like a front and a back, a sheet of notebook paper, about this main character, this boy named Jordan Keene, Kene. I've never met anybody with that name. I'm sure it exists, but like that was this, and like the different adventures that Jordan would go on.
I have like imaginations of books, but I never think I could like put them on paper.
I'm reading these books and these words. I'm like, I could never do this. I could never write that.
No, the description. I think that's what it would be really difficult, because I'd be like, it's a greenhouse.
Like I'd need a thesaurus at the ready.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the time.
Yeah. Well, and especially as someone who doesn't take the time to picture it, I probably wouldn't even include descriptions. Like, so there's a person.
It's just like plot. This is happening.
Yes. That's my favorite part, is the plot. Which I suppose is like everybody's favorite part. Although my 11th grade high school English teacher had us read this book, and I cannot remember the name of it, which is good, but it was a classic, and it was all landscape description, no plot. And he was so passionate about it. Like, he loved this book and was like, can't you just, after reading that, can't you really just picture the beautiful fall day? I was like, nothing happened. Like, absolutely nothing happened. Like, I tried to read, Tolkien did Lord of the Rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I read all the Lord of the Rings books, but then there's the like one ahead of time, the Silmarillion, and I tried to read it, and there's no plot for I don't know how long the no plot extends for, but it was longer than I could take.
And then you were like
no
done.
Plot. I was like, I'm out. I cannot.
Did not finish.
No, I did not.
Maybe that's why I'm not like right now. I'm reading that anti-hero book, and I just haven't hit the plot. And I think maybe that's why I'm like.
Do you not finish books if you're like?
Yes.
I used to want to finish everything, and now I'm like, no, I'm not gonna waste my time if it's 30 pages in and I'm not hooked.
For the most part, if it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm not feeling it, I don't. I'll just return it. But if I paid money for
I'm finishing that thing.
It takes a lot for me to not finish it. Like, I am really trying it. Now, there are some, like, I did not finish Daisy Jones and the Six.
I
still have your book of that.
I don't think I've read that. Oh, I have the book, but
it's like a script.
Did I give it to you? I don't think I did. I give it to you?
No, you gave me Evelyn Hugo.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one.
That's a good one.
I could not finish Daisy Jones and the Six. Which is weird because as I'm like, I hate when they describe places. This was all script, but it jumped around too much for me. I did not finish it, and I paid money for it. I'm like, I really tried.
Just watch the movie, it's fine.
Well, there's a TV show on Amazon Prime, but I couldn't watch. Yeah, I couldn't watch the TV show.
I just think the story's probably not for me. But what?
I think it's Sam Claflin is the main character for that.
Okay.
He's beautiful.
Okay.
So maybe just watch the show.
Okay. Well, that is enough about the Duet by R.S. Gray, which we average out to rating a 6.
Yeah, it's
a 6 average, which is better than...
To give it props, like, I did actually really like Brooklyn, like, her point of view. Like, I liked her. And
she was a very strong female main character.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. And she, like, stood up for her sister and that sort of thing. Or just, like, some weird parts, like, the drinking was a little too much for me. She was, like, partying, but also she's a pop star, so maybe that's what it is.
Right, YOLO.
But she was a really good character, and if people are looking for like a character that they can connect to, and
it's definitely an easy read. Like, at no point was I like, I'm not going to finish this book. Like, yes. I was definitely going to finish it. You can obviously see where it's going, but to be fair, that's this type of book.
The whole point.
I did not see the kid in the marriage thing.
No. Yes. Did not see that happen.
Yes. Well, that's always my favorite part of like these romance books is like when you get to like 65% and you're like, it's wrapping up. What's going to happen?
But usually you can tell. Like this one I could not. I was like, what?
Yeah. No, it was a fine book. Like I enjoyed my reading experience, but it's certainly not one. Like will I read Grayson and Cammie's book? Probably. Yes. But not because I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah. But because like, I'm familiar with these characters. Let's see what goes on next, you know? But anyways, what's next on your to-be-reads outside of potentially Grayson and Cammie's books?
What am I reading next?
There was an announcement today from Rebecca Yarros, but I actually discovered her Fourth Wing was already out, Iron Flame was not, and I'm on Kindle Unlimited just going about my merry way and find, this book looks cool. So I read a couple of her books, didn't realize it was her. So I propose we read one of her books that is not fantasy called The Things We Leave Unfinished.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan to me.
I love it.
It's beautiful and the characters are wonderful. Very strong female main character. 2 timelines. It's some like couple twists and turns you don't expect, happy ending. It is very well written.
Sounds like all of the things we love in our books.
Is it a historical fiction?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, when is it set?
World War II.
Oh, perfect.
So that's one of the timelines.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's gonna be the firefighter thing.
I have great dreams about this.
So it is. There was one point in the book, I've already read it, that I will not give anything away though.
Okay.
And I was shocked by the turn in the plot. So I cannot wait for you guys to read it and for us to talk about it.
I can't wait. That'll be great. I'm so excited. And for context, Rebecca Yarros' Fourth Wing, we all did read Fourth Wing, which is the first book, right? The second book is
Iron Flame.
Iron Flame. That's right. And then she announced the third one
today on Good Morning America.
Yes.
Already ordered.
I did not watch it live, but I watched the Instagram reel of her announcement later. Which, like, did she just, like, selfie style this video?
Yeah. I said she does most of her videos.
Yeah.
Okay. It must be the first one that I saw of hers. The description of her as a person did not match the person I saw with like the colored hair. I was like, oh.
My good friend Allison actually met her at a book signing.
That's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Also, the title of this new book is like, what? Onyx?
Yeah, Onyx something.
Yeah. Onyx Rising?
No.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
No. It's Onyx something.
It's Onyx something.
Let me go to my Amazon purchase history.
Which I'm so interested.
I know. I wonder, because I know we've been avidly listening to all of the theories behind
I have
it.
no service. Can you look it up?
Yeah. We've been avidly listening to all of the theories behind it.
Yeah.
And
how many books is she coming out for the series? Is it
5?
5. Okay, so this is the third one.
2027 we might be done.
Yeah, because she said that she was going to spread them out a little bit
well,
more.
when she released Iron Flame last year, she also released another book, and it was, I mean, the volume of material she released last year was
yeah. Well, and I think she like came out and was like, hey, I'm gonna be more balanced, like I can't just keep like writing these out one after the next, and so she's gonna
but why?
I appreciate that though, because then she gets more time with it, and you know,
I'm curious too, because they are saying it's gonna be I think it's an Amazon Prime show.
Yes, Michael B. Jordan's.
Well, and that was why she had to do them so fast back to back, I thought.
Yes.
Because they were like, you need to give us a little bit more content because we're going to catch up to you real fast.
Yeah.
Good point.
So I'm curious, is she going to be on the TV show? Not on the TV show, but like, is she consulting? Okay.
So she said, good morning, America. I'm excited to finally announce that the third book in the Empyrean series will be released January 21st, 2025. I can't tell you much yet, but I can tell you the title, Onyx Storm.
Storm, there it is.
There will be politics, new adventures, old enemies, and of course, dragons. Which, to be fair, those are my favorite characters.
I know.
Awesome. So, next episode, we're reading
The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros.
Awesome. Looking so forward to it. That's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Thanks for listening to our reviews, rants, and ramblings. Remember, if you also read this book and you review it on Amazon or Goodreads or wherever I guess you review in books, please include that Schmindel Unlimited sent you. And if you wouldn't mind a quick review on your podcast platform, that we would be forever grateful. Have a great week-ish, and we can't wait to read, review, rant, and ramble about the next